Hi, I'm Chris. I'm here with Megan, and today we're going to speak to Graham and find out a little bit more about him. He's a familiar face around Changes, has been for a long time. He was there way before I was, and obviously way before Megan. So he's a bit of a stalwart of Changes. So, Graham, do you want to tell us a bit about how you first got involved with Changes?
Okay, my history with changes goes right back to the 1990s now, when had experience of mental distress for some years. I had a breakdown about sort of 1990, and had various sort of treatment and hospitalisations and and I came across these peer support meetings which were advertised at one of the local resource centres. So I went along to one there with a friend. It was with people who once they got talking, sort of they were talking about sort of similar things that I'd been through, and talking about ways of dealing with things. So I thought, oh, this sounds quite useful. So sort of kept going, and the more I went, the sort of more ideas about managing mental distress are picked up, and the idea of recovery, of learning to live with mental distress. And I saw that you could do it, and that people had moved on. So, over the years, gained a bit more confidence and tried a few things, and then eventually got into doing a little bit of voluntary work when Changes was formally sort of starting off back in about 98, I think it was, 1998, just a couple of hours a week. That's all I was sort of capable of at the time. I was still sort of relatively unwell there, but I thought doing a bit of voluntary work was the next step for me. Did that for a couple of years. Then Changes put together its coordinated training program, so to train people to run Changes peer support meetings, the ones that started off going several years ago. Decided to give that a go there. Again, that was an excellent sort of course, and a boost to my recovery, and a big boost to my self-confidence there, doing the course, and overcoming my anxiety and getting up in front of people and speaking and giving presentations as part of the course there. So passed that course, and got involved in delivering the peer support meetings. Did that for a couple of years there, and that was the next level, if you like, actually delivering the groups, and that's a big boost to the confidence, and then a training position came up with Changes, an actually paid position, which the chief exec at the time or still is, of Dave Wheat, said, do you want to go for? He says, if you've sort of been doing coordinating involved with us for a little while now. So I thought, I'm hard about it. I hadn't worked properly for about 10 years, and it was a big step, but I thought I'd give it a go, and I did give it a go, and thankfully sort of turned out okay. So I've sort of been doing that for last on and off, apart from a gap of a couple of years or so. Been doing that since 2003, so about 16, 17 years now. So yeah, that's sort of basically my story. Yeah, so I've been involved with Changes for quite some time. Yeah, both as a user, as a volunteer, and then progressing, having looked to progress to paid employment with Changes.
That is a very long time, isn't it?
It is a long time. Yes, it does. It's when I think of that, it's the age I am now. It is actually over half my life, and I can't actually believe that.
I think that's longer than I've been alive.
It is, Megan. Yes, thanks for that. It's, yes, it is. It is actually, yes. It's there's one or two people, the colleague Phoebe, who said that, that it is, they weren't born when I got involved in Changes. So that puts it in perspective for me, really. But yeah, like I said, Chris says, I suppose I am a stalwart now, really, sort
You
of
are.
part of the furniture, I suppose. So, you know,
And
there you go.
what's your favourite part about your job?
The favourite part has got to be delivering the workshops and having a, you know, it's been a really good session, and you've seen people get involved, and maybe over the over a course of workshops, seeing people progress and move on, you know, and making a real difference to people's lives. I think it really, you know, it really does give you that a massive boost, you know, as there, you know. I think it's an important part of my, you know, keeping me well, I think, you know, to be able to see that. But, you know, to me, that's the essence, what the job's all about, you know, that's it there. And, you know, seeing people and making that real difference, you know, knowing that you've had a role to, you know, to actually play in that there. I think that's definitely the biggest part for me, yeah, of the job, yeah, definitely.
So, do you think there's anything kind of special or unique about changes?
I think it is, you know, the fact that, you know, it was started off by people who, you know, had mental distress, you know, people who, you know, not psychiatric professionals or whatever, you know, although, you know, they obviously have a role to play there, but, you know, it was people who themselves, you know, had been there and you know, developed ways and techniques of managing their mental distress on a day-to-day basis, and, you know, and people sharing those, and, you know, and just everybody within Changes, you know, has that sort of, you know, that experience, that knowledge, that understanding, really, you know. I think it is, you know, special from that point of view, definitely. You know, it's you know, people who've walked the walk, you know, to that cliche there, you know, as well as talking the talk, you know, they really have, you know, it is a genuine user-led organisation Changes, you know, and people, you know, involved in it, you know, really have been there themselves, you know, and it's, you know, it's not just a sort of tea and sympathy organisation either, you know. It's, you know, it's, you know, it's encouraging people to move on, to move forward with their lives, you know, and, you know, that you can, you know, be somebody in life, so to, you know, speak, or to live it, you know, to you know, to live a better life, for want of a better term. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I absolutely agree. Right, let's move on to some more light-hearted questions about
Okay.
you. So, what is or who is your favourite band, artist, singer?
Band, artist, singer, right. When I was younger, even before I got involved in Changes, I was sort of into all that, like sort of in indie stuff. I was a big fan of bands like the Smiths, New Order, and all that sort of stuff. And you know, I think it sort of suited me and my sort of outlook on life there. You know, I was very much into that and followed those sort of bands. I think when about the time I sort of got in Changes, I started to change my musical tastes, I think, and it was when I'd had sort of the onset of the mental distress. I got more into classical music, you know, there, and you know, it was, you know, obviously some of it can, you know, can be quite soothing, and you know, when you're experiencing mental distress, you know, that's perhaps the sort of music that you want to listen to. And you know, I developed an interest, you know, more and more as time went on, really. So that now is my sort of main, you know, type of music that I do enjoy, you know, that I do like. You know, it's something I can, you know, I find sort of mentally and emotionally I can sort of, you know, connect to, and it can take me to a, you know, a sort of a different plane, if you like, you know, or on a sort of different journey there. And you know, I really, you know, I really can sort of, you know, connect to that sort of type of music, really. So that's something that I've developed. But I do occasionally go back and sort of listen to some of the old stuff, you know, some of the music from my youth, you know, a bit of a trip down memory lane, so to speak, you know, a little bit of nostalgia, and YouTube's a great a great tool for that there, and watch some of the videos and stuff that I used to when I was a young person. So I hope in some way, Megan, that's answered your
Yeah. No,
question.
it's so nice, isn't it? Like looking, I mean, even me, and I like to think young.
Yeah, yeah.
Looking back on music from years ago, something throws you back mentally, doesn't it? Something about music transports you to a different time.
It does, yeah. It's quite, it's a really unique art form, and that, it really can, transport you, mentally, emotionally, can change your mood, take you back, to a place in time. It really is very, very powerful, and so say occasionally I do, indulge in a little bit of that sort of nostalgia and the way things were, many years ago. Yeah, yeah. But it does have that power, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
I agree. Okay, so have you watched anything really good over lockdown, like a film, a series, anything that you thought that was really good?
That's a good question. I've sort of been dipping in and out of watching, TV and some of these catch-up channels and stuff. I think I've been a fan of there's a crime series set in sort of the 1960s, Inspector Gently. I don't know whether either of you have come across it. It's Martin Shaw. Martin Shaw, the actor, is he plays George Gently, and it's set in the 1960s, and it's quite it's quite sort of atmospheric, and invokes the sort of time there. So you've obviously got the crime, thriller sort of part of it, but also again the bit of sort of history, and going back in time and to a different place, and different attitude there. So that's been a really something that I've sort of dipped into quite a few times, and I had a couple of binges when it's been on the catch-up channel there, and 3 or 4 episodes of that. So yeah, there's that there. I'm just trying to think what else. I think I've done a lot of sort of watching sort of comedy clips, again, YouTube. I think that's been important, especially over lockdown. Obviously to keep spirits up and stuff. And again, you can get in there. You can go down that rabbit hole if you like, of all what's on there. I do like the BBC comedy sort of panel show. Would I Lie to You? That's something I think it's a really good show, and it's and there are clips of that on YouTube, and I've binged on that a few times, and you can get yourself watching 2-3 hours at a time, and you think, oh, I'll just watch one clip, and then 2 or 3 hours later you're still there. I don't know whether you can associate with that. It's easy done, just to get into that. But that's something else that I've been sort of kept me going, as it's been my viewing over the past few months. Yeah.
Comedy's a good thing to watch, isn't it, in a time like
It is.
a bit of lightness. Have you got a favourite film of all time?
Oh, probably if you'd asked me 30 years ago, I'd give you a different answer now than now. But I think the one I've watched sort of really has taken to over the past few years is the Shawshank Redemption. I think
Yeah.
it's I don't know what it is about it. It's just that there, and the overcoming the adversity, and that sort of stuff. I think it is again a film that just gets you in there, and takes you in, and but I say I've just found myself watching it, again and again, really, and it's almost like I've watched it too much now. I'm gonna have to leave it a few years now, I think, before I get back to it, But it's
read the original story, Graham.
I have read, yes, I have. I did actually a few months ago. I read the Stephen King novella a few months ago. So I thought, you know, and I think, you know, I really enjoyed that as well. You know, it's there, so that inspired me to, you know, to film, inspired me to read the book. But it's you know, it's such a great film. It's so well acted, you know, and you know, and it seems to be, you know, everything going for it really. So yeah, I think at the moment that would be my top film of all time. There might be another one to knock it off its perch to come along, but I think at the moment definitely.
What
I
would have
think
been
we're all in agreement. Go on, Chris.
Yeah.
your answer 30 years ago?
That's a good question.
It's safe with that you'd have had a different answer 30 years ago. So I wonder
Yes, yeah, that's yeah. There was one or two sort of films, I think. There used to be a film called The Dresser. I don't know whether you've heard of it. It's set in the theatrical world. It was and it was actually revived as a theatre production a few years ago. But it originally filmed with Tom Albert Finney. You might have heard of, you know, classic actor of the, you know, 60s, 70s, and this was early 80s, and Tom Courtenay as well. You know, it's again, you know, another sort of British from the past, and it was just set in a theatre company during the Second World War, and you know, and that relationship between this sort of whole old traditional actor and the bloke who is dresser, you know, the bloke who helped him to prepare for his performances, and you know, it's that individual, you know, sort of or sort of the relationship between the two there, and all the tensions and strains. So you know, that was just a film that I really enjoyed, you know. So yeah, so that was it. So you know, it's perhaps worth checking out if you're into a little bit of, you know, that sort of thing, and you know, get it there. It was I think it was an Oscar nominated film at the time, but it's way back in 1983. So again, way before your time, Megan, and even before yours, I think, Chris, or not too far off.
I would have been 4.
Yeah, oh, yes.
No, that sounds like a good one to watch, definitely.
Yeah.
Are you a reader, Graham? I feel like you are.
I do, yes, I do try and, yeah, what when I can, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Have you read anything amazing lately, or have you got a favourite book or a favourite genre? Tell us about what you like to read.
I do might sound a bit boring, but I do like history. Yeah, I read a lot of history. When I can, all periods. I try and dabble into a little bit of sort of philosophy occasionally, push myself a little bit, you know, it's there, and I've just started reading a book, or I'm reading an introduction to it, a book at the moment called The Meditations by it was a Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. You might actually have heard of. In fact, you should have heard of him if you've done changes recovery workshops. Yeah, you should have heard of Marcus Aurelius, because there is actually a quotation on one of the slides of the healthy thinking session of the recovery workshop. So Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor, but a sort of philosopher, a Stoic philosopher of the 2nd century there. So you know, some sort of good ideas on how to live life, and you know, how to accept the ups and downs of life. I think particularly pertinent, you know, what we're going through at the moment. You know, so that's something I've just started to read. Don't have any sort of at the moment. I haven't been sort of reading much fiction and like that. In the past, I have, you know, read a little bit. So, you know, sort of spy novels and things like that, and you know, thrillers, that sort of stuff. And that's maybe something that I could, you know, I'd like to get back into. But say just recently, it has been history and you know, and things like that. So, you know, quite quite sort of not non-fiction stuff really.
I bet your head is full of so much knowledge, isn't it?
Well, I'm glad you said knowledge, not rubbish.
No, knowledge. I love
Well,
people who read like fiction, non-fiction, and history, and
yeah. It's occasionally a little bit of lighter stuff, and everything. But I do like, sort of, to that sort of side of things. I do like, knowledge and gaining knowledge, there. So yeah,
it's not as much of kind of an escapism, is it, as fiction?
Not really, no. Although you can, reading history, you can, it's like escaping into the past, if you like. It's an accounts of, if it's a well-written history, it's you can escape into a different time, and you're gaining knowledge as well. I think
Yeah,
it's got
that's
those,
true.
those double benefits really. And I say I'm always a fan of history. I recommend there's a lot of popular history and history programs on the TV which people can access now, and on YouTube and stuff, and it's a good way of expanding your mind and expanding your knowledge, I think. Yeah.
I love reading. Reading's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So what are your two favourite genres then, just to put it back to you? What are yours? What do you sort of...
I read so much self-help, biology,
Right.
anything about the human body or mind.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sciencey stuff. What about you,
Oh.
Chris?
I vary. I do like some comedies, light-hearted. At the minute, I am reading a history. I'm in. It's another history book I used to do at college. It's a polite and commercial people. It's about a history of Britain, like 1727 to.
Right. Yeah.
It's a bit dry. Well, like Graham said, yeah, there's a lot of information in there. But I've recently finished the Hamilton biography that the musical was loosely based on.
Right.
It's very long, but again, that had quite a good. There's almost like a storytelling aspect to it. It was really good, and you could get into it properly. It was a good narrative. So again, it depends how they're written, really.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Some history, some history can be really dry, but there are a few historians who can bring it to life, and definitely. So I try and steer towards their books. Yeah. Sorry, Chris. Yeah.
And I like crime fiction as well.
I like crime fiction.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I just can't get into history. I think I had a really bad history teacher in school, and she hated me. And I just hated history. And then obviously going to train as an actor, history's like the most important thing. So I had to learn to kind of like it. And things that people find general knowledge about history, I'm like embarrassed because I don't know anything. I do now. I've had to make the effort, but I wouldn't dream of reading.
No, not your thing at all. No,
I don't think so.
Must have had a good history. I had a good history teacher at high school, and then I did it at college. And you went further with it, didn't you, Graham?
Yeah.
If I remember rightly, we'll come to that maybe. But yeah, we had did history at college, A level, and yeah, a couple of good teachers there as well. Really passionate about the subjects and really put it over in. It's really good. Again, just like telling a story around it. It's not just regurgitation of facts. It is about.
Definitely.
The teacher makes such a difference, like an absolute difference. But then when I do Shakespeare and stuff, I absolutely love it, and I think I would have loved it. I do think your teachers make a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, like I say, Shakespeare brings history to life, doesn't he? That's the thing, and you can connect with it, can't you? And real people, and everything, and it might not be 100% sort of factually correct, but it does bring it, you can really associate, with the characters there and the brilliance of the writing and stuff, and there. So, something like that could, can definitely, inspire you regarding history, I think. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm totally lying. Period dramas and films are my favourite things. That's history,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Perhaps I just don't like reading about it.
I mean, it takes, it does. you've got to really sort of apply yourself, you know, and if you've got other interests or you know, elsewhere, it's really difficult. I think, you know, it's just something I've been, you know, brought up with, and you know, there to do this, you know, and you know, there. But if I've come from a different background, I might find it difficult myself, really, you know. So, but yeah, period dramas are a good way again, you know, of sparking off an interest. You know, is that all the Jane Austen stuff and everything?
Oh yeah, all of it.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and even back to like things like, I don't know, it's not really factual, but like Spartacus and stuff. Anything.
Yeah. Something with a bit. Yeah, the, you know, the yeah. Is that the TV series Spartacus? Is that the?
I've watched the film and the
Oh, the film as well. Yeah.
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 It's escapism, isn't it? If it's not a time that you live in.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I might have put Spartacus, coming back to the favourite films. That would probably be in top 10. I think definitely Spartacus. I think you know, I would keep going. I've seen that several times, and you know, if that came on the TV or I saw it, whatever, you know, when I got a couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours to spare, I would definitely sit down and watch that all the way through. It's absolutely brilliant film. Yeah. You know, it's got so much to it. Yeah. So. Oh, we went off a bit there, didn't we?
We've gone off on one, we have. Right. Where is your favourite place to visit?
Right. I think it's got to be North Wales. I think I like, you know, I've again, you know, it's sort of childhood influences, and you know, used to go and child holidays there, and my grandparents used to have a caravan and then lived in Wales, North Wales for a time. So, you know, it's there. I just like it. The coast is great. You know, all the seaside resorts. You know, Llandudno and going around the Great Orme, and you know, going Conway and you know, places like that, Anglesey. You know, going across there, Snowdonia, exploring there. You know, going walking. It's a beautiful country to, you know, to walk in and to explore. So I keep going back to North Wales. Yeah, it's, you know, I really do. It's, you know, it's you know, it's just got something about it. I think, you know, that you know, keeps going back there and again, and you know, and really enjoy it. Yeah.
Have you walked up Snowdon?
I have, yes.
Was it hard?
It was reasonably hard. I got because I'd done some walking previously in the days before, and I got a rucksack full of my stuff. So it was quite hard. It was a blazing summer's day, and if you do it in summer, you do it with about 5,000 other people as well. It's absolutely, it gets absolutely packed. It really does on weekends during the summer. You know, most people, you know, they go there. So don't do it if you want a bit of solitude. But it was an achievement. You know, you know, it's something. Yeah, get to the top. Have either of you done it? Have you done it? Or?
I've wanted to do it for so long. I really want to do it, but no, I haven't. Have you done any of the other kind of the Three Peaks? Have you done Ben Nevis or Scarfell Pike?
I haven't. No, I haven't done either of those. I've been up 1 one in the lakes. I forgot the Skiddaw. That's the one. That's one of the high ones in the Lake District. But I haven't done, you know, but you know, I think that would be, you know, and I think we talked about this, didn't we, Chris, again, you know, a few years ago, but we never got around to doing it, about doing the Three Peaks Challenge. I think, you know, it's.
I would like to try to do it.
We should do it at Changes. We should set it up next year, probably, because it's not going to be this year, is it?
No.
That's what we're talking about, trying to do it, but it's a logistical nightmare to try and sort out.
Yeah.
I'll help. I would love to do that.
Yeah, you've got to have like a couple of people drivers, haven't you? You know, people to take the what's it, you know, there and but yeah, you know, whilst I'm still just about, I think, fit enough to do like that. So the sooner the better, I think, with something like
Sooner
that.
the better.
For me, definitely.
So what is your go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food. someone who absolutely adores food, that's a really difficult question for me to answer. That's what I would go to. I think what's something just come into my head would be cinnamon and raisin bagels with toasted with peanut butter on. I think crunchy peanut butter. How does that sound? Is that
Yes, that does sound comforting. I don't eat peanut butter, but I wish I did because it looks so good.
yeah.
Cinnamon and raisin bagel. Oh
Cinnamon,
yeah.
it's got to be cinnamon raisin. Yeah, it's something, toasted there. That's something. Yeah, that I have got. I have to resist buying when I go to the supermarket because it's gone as soon as I've got it home really. But,
There's something about anything toasted, any kind of bread toasted.
Yeah.
It's just the smell. It is comforting, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
You can't smell any type of toast and then not have some yourself.
That's right. That's right. But when I'm at the changes office, sometimes use the toaster there and
You
or something, and people always remark they come through, the smell of the toast.
do. It's usually me.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So yeah, that definitely something like that would be my go-to comfort food. Yeah, definitely.
Nice one. I like that one. I'm trying to not go to lockdown straight away. Lockdown stuff. What's your favourite season of the year?
Ooh. Again, I was sort of thinking about this the other week, and I think with sort of being a walker, I like going out walking. I think it's probably on balance. I think it's got to be. It's a toss up between spring, late spring, yeah, when it's starting to get bright and things are coming out and blossoming, there. But it's not too hot yet for walking, or early autumn, or sort of the weather that we've had, and recently, just before we've done doing these interviews, we've had a bit of an Indian summer, as they say, and going out, and early mid-September, so yeah, either of those two really, I think, yeah, or might be my ideal season, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I think I agree. Yeah, I like them. It's not too hot and it's not too cold. They're just
That's
nice.
right. Yeah. And you've still got the beauty of the greenery and whatnot. It's starting to and things are coming out in spring. And they're still there in early autumn, or they started to turn a little bit. And the red and the brown leaves and stuff, is very pleasing on the eye, and that sort of stuff. But the temperatures and the weather's still reasonably okay, there for going out walking. So yeah, definitely, yeah.
It's the most methodical answer we've had for that, and
thank you very much.
Absolute sense, it does.
Thank you.
So if you could live in any era, if you could be born in any year, what would you like to live through? What kind of era?
That is a good question, especially having an interest in history. I'm just trying to think now. I always wanted to sort of had an interest in sort of time, sort of early sort of medieval history that comes around about the time with the Battle of Hastings and the Norman Conquest, that sort of stuff. So perhaps just to travel back in time and see what life was like, that talking 1,000 years ago, there, and obviously everybody's heard it, knows about the Battle of Hastings and stuff, there. So just
you say everybody.
Well, okay. most people, yeah, or that time there, and just to go back and experience it, to see what it was like, the way people were different, or how similar they were to people today, that sort of thing. I don't know whether I could live permanently in a town like that. You know, it was probably quite brutal. But just to experience something like that, you know, a different, you know, a life, obviously radically different to what the life that we, you know, the modern fast-paced life that we have today. You know, to go back to, you know, a period something like that, really.
Is that when they did like beheadings and wore chains and stuff?
Yeah, you know, yeah, you know, armor and stuff, yeah, and you
You would
know,
lucky if it was just a beheading for some of them.
well, yeah. Some of the punishments are, well, we won't talk about them.
Oh no.
But I think, you know, I always wanted to sort of, you know, go back to a time like that and just, you know, experience it, you know, for you know, just for a short time, without all the pain and the suffering, and the punishment,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff.
Like
Yeah,
a fly on the wall, just to have a
fly
look.
on the wall, definitely. Yeah, just a fly on the wall for sure.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
Have you got any hobbies that we don't know about?
Any hobbies? I'll say you know, I do like walking. You know, going out long distance walking and stuff. That's something I've done. As I said, I've talked about liking classical music. I've got into over the last few years, and you know, going out and to concerts and stuff. I like crosswords, cryptic crosswords. That again, that's, you know, it's not just a hobby. I see it as a wellness tool as well. You know, from just coming, you know, sort of relating it to our mental well-being. You know, it's something I can always go to if I've had a stressful day, or if I feel anxious, you know, or feel a bit down. I can go and you know, do a crossword, and it absorbs all your mind. You know, there, you know, you really have to sort of focus on it. So yeah, crosswords are something I like doing. Cookery, yeah, baking, yeah, something that I do try and have a dabble in. You know, it's don't claim to be you know, an expert or whatever, or you know, a gourmet, but a gourmet chef. But you know, it's something that I do like to have a dabble with and experiment with a little bit, and to try different dishes and make a few cakes. You know, with being a vegan, you know, obviously up until recently, it's been limited as to, you know, the sweet stuff that you can get from supermarket. So, you know, I got into making a few of my favourite vegan versions of cakes and puddings and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'd definitely say that was it. That was a hobby as well. Yeah. So
You mentioned being vegan. How long have you been vegan? Yeah, let's start with that. How long have you
how
been?
long? Right. I think it's been about 12 years now, something like that. I think it's 12 years. I started off vegetarian back in, it was
Yeah.
back in about 2003, I think it was, and then I was vegetarian for about 4 or 5 years, and then became full vegan. Said about 12 or 13 years ago. So yeah, quite.
And what inspired that change?
I think sort of part of it was sort of an ethic from ethical viewpoints. You know, I'd sort of a long time had, you know, concerns about, you know, the way animals are treated, and you know, factory farming, that sort of stuff. There, you know, it was all something that I'd thought about but never done anything about. But I decided to do something about it. So there was definitely the ethical side. I thought maybe health wise, you know, it would be better, and I think it was perhaps part of my recovery as well. You know, it's there with when I was starting to do more exercise, as you know, as part of that there, and improving my physical and mental well-being. I thought, well, try and get the diet side of things right, and you know, and vegetarianism, veganism seemed to be, you know, from what I'd read, whether it is or not, I don't know, you know, but it seemed to be, you know, a healthy option, you know, eating lots of vegetables and stuff like that. So yeah, you know, there was definitely that aspect to it as well. Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I think it's, you know, again, you know, just something it's my lifestyle now. You know, it's something that, you know, just naturally, really. That's how I see it. So.
And out of interest to myself, because I do think plant-based is the way.
Yeah.
What changes did you find physically and mentally when you kind of changed your diet?
Perhaps I think I had more energy. Yeah, I really do. You know, eating. You know, and I think I just felt generally, you know, healthier, eating more vegetables and stuff, you know, and a bit more lively, and you know, I think my weight was a little bit was more manageable, you know, there, and you know, I think probably it did have a, you know, a positive effect on my mental well-being, you know, you know, there, and you know, why that was, I'm not quite sure, but you know, I think it did, you know, there definitely have have an effect there, you know, eating healthy stuff. So yeah, but all round, I think, you know, physically and mentally, you know, I think it's been a positive thing for me, definitely. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so lockdown.
Right.
How have you stayed sane? If
Oh, I
you
stayed sane. Right. Okay. I suppose it is, you know, again, just trying, you know, sort of thinking about what we try and promote through changes, you know, and the sort of healthy thinking, and the, you know, the acceptance, you know, there, and, you know, accepting what you can't change, changing what you can. So, you know, very much trying to, you know, sort of get into that mindset that this has happened, you know, things like this happen in life, you know, we have to do something, we have to adjust, you know, rather than sort of focusing too much on what we've lost, thinking about what we can do. Yeah, okay, you can't go out to North Wales or to the Peak Districts walking, but can go out for a walk every day, you know, there, when we were allowed out once a day. I can go to the local park, and, you know, and go around there and make that a regular thing. Couldn't go to my something else was interested, going out quiz nights. So I used to go, you know, went to quiz night for every Thursday evening, you know, pub quiz. So obviously that was closed down. So what alternatives are there? Yeah, there's the changes online quizzes that we have, you know, the categories, and the other occasional quizzes that we have. So, you know, something there. Can't go and visit family, you know, that's out there. So how do we get around that? Well, we've got the technology, you know, to do that. So getting to using Skype to, you know, to get in touch, and speaking to my brother and his family every Sunday, you know, to keep that family connection there, using, you know, getting on the telephone to my mum and dad more often than would normally do there. So, you know, it's adapting that way. Can't go out to concerts, so, you know, what, again, using the technology, what's on YouTube, you know, what things can I watch on there, really. So, you know, it's been sort of trying and, you know, sort of see what we can do rather than what we can't do, really. You know, thinking about the wellness tools when it does get stressful, you know, going out for a walk, and, you know, when for example, the technology delivery session has not been as it should be, so to speak. You know, the vagaries of technology and the internet, so that can stress you out, and you know, there. So, you know, finding ways of dealing with stressful things like that. You know, so yeah, it's just, you know, just trying to think, you know, how do we adapt to a new situation, being open to change, really. Yeah, I hope that sort of makes sense. You know, I hope that's
It's a way of life, isn't it? It's a way of
yeah,
thinking, like looking what you do have rather than what you don't have.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And as you just demonstrated, there was absolutely adequate, what's the word I'm looking for? It's evaporated from my, like, adequate alternatives for everything you
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You know, good, you know, some good second best, so to speak. You know, good stuff. Good, you know, there, and so yeah, so it's been able to, you know, being open to, you know, adapting to, you know, to a different way doing things, really. You know, and it's not to say it hasn't been stressful, and, you know, change can be, you know, stressful, and getting to know new ways of working and that sort of stuff. You know, but it's trying to adopt that, you know, that sort of attitude to it, that balanced attitude to it, really. The things are going to go wrong, or what can I do to deal with this situation? Even if it's just going out for a walk and letting off a bit of steam or whatever, something like that. We can, still being able to go out and go around the local park and do a couple of circuits around there, and then hopefully your mind can calm down a little bit, and you come back and you feel a bit more refreshed, and your thinking's a bit more rational, there. So it's just trying to think of all those things that you can do to to adapt to new situations, to stressful situations, really.
It's interesting. That's just a really refreshing response, and I think it's probably because you have struggled with kind of mental distress. So some of my friends who would admit they haven't really struggled or suffered or anything, their outlook on lockdown is so much more pessimistic about how rubbish everything is and everything they can't do. I just find that interesting that you have to be proactive with your mental health, don't you? And I think people are so quick to just highlight everything they can't do, and really we're so lucky in so many ways, aren't we? And it's just interesting. Again, it's very methodical how you come at it. This is what I can't do, but this is what I can do. It's like an active decision to be positive and look after yourself, isn't it? That was just really refreshing for me, because I've listened to a lot of moaners.
But it's something that obviously I've had to develop over time, having that experience of mental distress, and stuff happening, and you can't do anything about it. You have to learn to accept it, and that life doesn't always come out the way that you like it to be, and things happen. Things happen. It goes back to what I talked about before, about that philosophy, trying to have a bit of that stoic philosophy, of accepting that it's not always going to be great. We've got to deal with things as they are, rather than as we'd like them to be sometimes, and there. So I think that has sort of stood me in good stead, and perhaps people who've had that experience there and have learnt these techniques and these ideas, I think that has stood me in good stead during the during what's happened over the past 6 months.
I agree.
Yeah.
Stoic philosophy is interesting as well. I've been looking a bit into that recently. We won't go into it, but it's fascinating.
Yeah. So, like I say, that's why I've gone back, sort of reading a bit, Marcus Aurelius again, a Stoic philosopher there, and for a few sort of his ideas and stuff, there. It is fascinating stuff, fascinating.
It's true. Okay, go on.
Sorry, go on. Yeah.
You go on.
No, I was just going to ask Chris whether that, you sort of thought about yourself, and you could relate to that, being able to deal with a situation that's different and what you've learned through changes and
a little bit. If you go back and see the video we did touch on that about it. It didn't, lockdown as it stood didn't impact my life hugely, which is quite sad, really.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. I know,
it was fine. I found, walked the dogs a bit while we could through lockdown. I found a few extra green spaces close by that I never knew were there.
Yeah.
So there's a nice little nature place to the back of the university. There's, it's just over the A50 from me, Coxterbrook. I never knew that was there. Nice big space to walk.
Yeah.
So find that I got a bit more exercise in than I was doing before. I say working from home, adapted, and then I was thinking things would have been different going back to you 30 years ago. If this had happened 30 years ago, how would we have coped? I don't think as well.
No, definitely not.
Had the technology, we all had a landline. A few people might have had a mobile, but it was few and far between back then.
Imagine.
I don't think many people had access to the internet. You might have had like a 16 kilobyte modem if you were lucky, if anybody had them. 4 channels on TV, no stream. Some people might have had Sky, but again, few and far between.
Wow.
It would have been much more difficult. I don't want to say we were lucky, but it was timing wise and the way that things have moved on. So if you ask when was the best time to live, I think it's always the present, isn't it? It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, like go back to what Graham said. I'd like to visit some places in the past, but I certainly wouldn't want to stay or live.
No, definitely no.
Any way, shape, or form.
No, definitely not. No.
Yeah, I'd like the exit door be close by as well.
Awful, yeah.
I think it's interesting you say that, Chris. This happening in this time, because I think it's moved us forward in so many ways. So many businesses will never go back to what life was before. I think there will be a new normal rather than back to where we were 6 months ago. And hopefully, I'm praying there's going to be some nice changes, like environmental changes, as in, what do I mean by that? Like less use of cars, and I don't know, like flying people about. And I don't know, I think it's an opportunity to move forward rather than go backwards. I think weather will take it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I say we've all talked about again how lucky we are. I think it's also highlighted the fact there's a lot of people who may not necessarily have been so lucky. We've all got access to the internet. We've got laptops, we've got TV, we've got decent space to move around. Not everybody has had that, so again, I think that's highlighted some social difficulties as well. Whether they do get addressed is a different matter, and that's out of our hands a little bit.
Yeah.
I know when we were delivering the workshops, we were trying to started doing the online ones. We were trying to put it very much with a lockdown focus, and how people could cope, because there were people that accessing who'd got the kids all day, you know what I mean, who were stuck in the house with the children, virtually 24 hours a day, and it's just how it's trying to sort of help people out how can you cope with that, and again, things like technology can help a little bit, doing exercise videos together, with the parents and kids and that sort of stuff, but I can't relate to how someone, there who was, in that situation. It's very difficult, there to be able to offer to somebody how you cope with that. I'm sure it's been very, very difficult for people, like you say, definitely. Yeah.
It has definitely highlighted differences. That you are right, Chris. It has. I don't think I've thought about that till now as deeply. It has definitely.
Yeah, but to whether it is about adaptation, into and our ability to, and like you said, Chris, there, I was the same. I couldn't go out to the Peak District walking, so it's finding what local bits of greenery that I hadn't explored before, I could do, and that was, that was okay, doing that there, bits locally there. So, trying as much as we can to, to think, to adapt and think what we can do, and to try and focus on that rather than what we can't do.
That's a nice little segue to the last question I'm going to ask you, Graham.
Okay, that's fine.
Someone who is struggling with their mental health is watching this video now. What piece of advice would you give to them?
I would say find out what help there is, out there, definitely, and then and use that help, go for it, if there are, there are obviously changes there, that can offer support for people, and I'd say go for it, seek out that help, most people have got technology there, just do a search, find what help you can, and then go for it. It is there. We're here, offering the peer support groups and the and the workshops there for people, stuff that you can access, right away. There's no waiting list, so there's definitely that support is available. And also to say, that this what you're going through at the moment, it is temporary. It might not seem like it. It might seem this is it and it's horrible and there's no way out of this, but there is, with the right help, the right support, that you can come through what you're experiencing at the moment, and things can change for the better, definitely.
Absolutely. What
Okay.
a lovely, lovely note to end on. Have you got
Okay.
anything else, Chris?
No, I'm done. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Graham.
You're welcome. If that's okay, if you managed to, you don't spend too much time on the editing, booth or whatever. I hope that was okay. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Graham, and thank you, Megan.
See you later.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Bye.